Hello everyone, this is Dr. Achal and I welcome you again in our subject module titled as Services Marketing and Strategies. Now in today's discussion we will be dealing with the internationalization of services. In our previous discourse we have dealt with the concept of the CRM, that is customer relationship management, the after sales services. We have also discussed the specific sectors which are offering you the pure services and their credence quality was being difficult to determine, like the tourism sector, insurance and the banking sector. Now, in today's deliberation, we will be dealing with an important aspect that is all being related with the internationalization of the services. In our previous discourse, till we have discussed, like we have said that if the services organization or if the service providers they are operating within the territorial boundary, what are the important strategies that they have to look into for, or how they have to draft out their 7 P's regarding the having a greater resonance with the changing needs and aspirations of the people. Especially in our today's discussion will be dealing out with the concept of understanding the internationalization of the services. What are the important strategies that is to be pursued and that is to be followed by the marketers, especially the service marketers, and what are the challenges that they have to get into if they are moving in for the internationalization of the services. So, in today's discussion we will be moving on with this particular important topic. Now, this particular slide says, the very first slide, it is giving you a bird's eye view regarding the understanding of the conceptual view of the internationalization of the services, and it is saying that it involves adapting out your offerings to meet out the needs and the preferences of the customers in different markets. It is a strategic decision that can significantly expand your business reach and revenue. Now, whenever we are using out the word internationalization, somewhere or the other there lies in our mind, or it comes an idea into our mind that we are moving out towards the diversification process. We are expanding out our reach to such an audience whose presence is not being felt in the domestic boundary, but we are trying to target them out, their aspirations and the expectations of these customers. They are falling out apart from our territorial boundary. So, this internationalization concept, it says that you are adapting out your offerings to meet out the needs and the preferences of the customers who are residing in the different markets, and it is saying that it is a strategic decision that can significantly expand your business reach and revenue. Definitely, if you are moving for the diversification process, your expansion is to be seen, because diversification itself, it speaks of the fact that you are trying to outgrow yourselves, you are trying to expand your area of operation, you are trying to explore something new, a newer market area, a newer market research is being done to identify a newer target audience, to identify your newer area to be explored that is being untouched by the competitors. So, definitely that will be leading to and having a significant impact toward expansion of your business, and your business reach will be expanded, and your audience, definitely your sales revenue and the sales volume will be in the same tune. So, this is a graphic portrayal wherein we are seeing the internationalization process of the service provider. It is being written in the middle, the box, the rectangular box, it shows in the middle that how the internationalization process of the services or the service provider is being seen, and how they are being made into the different ways. The very first rectangle and the first point that highlights this concept of internationalization, it highlights on the very first important triggering incentive, and that triggering point is related with the motives, and it says that why do service companies embark towards internationalization. That is the motive, that is your primary objective. The motive itself, it means that the primary objective behind which is triggering you out, or which is driving you out towards moving in a certain desired way. So, this is a motive. The motive can be inner directed, the motive can be outer directed. Here in case of the internationalization of the services, we are seeing that this motive, the use of the word motive, it refers to the fact that the primary objective of moving in for the internationalization, what is the primary objective that is to be seen by the service provider to diversify and to move in for the process of internationalization. Maybe regarding capturing of the dominance share, maybe regarding acting as a market leader, maybe an objective of fulfilling out a greater customer reach. Any kind of objective can be pursued by the service provider in order to just move on with this concept. Second, we are seeing that the country market selection, and this particular rectangle says that the second point to be taken into consideration is the country market selection, and it says that how do service companies select countries and markets to enter or to expand. Now, it is having a profound influence that where we want to go, that is planning is being made, that where we are at present and in the future where we want to move around. So, planning is all being related within a plan, I mean it's all being related within a future course of action. So, here if we are just trying to plan out to expand out our area of operation, to have an expansion of our business reach, definitely it is an important objective, or it is an important area to be focused upon by the service marketers, that is where they want to go in for towards moving out or towards fulfilling out the concept of the internationalization. That is the area to be targeted upon, the nation, the city, the markets, the selected countries, the specific countries, and whether this particular selection of a specific country or an area or in a city will be feasible enough for them to carry out their operations, whether the government at that particular country or at that particular nation will be giving them a welcoming attitude, or whether they will be hostile enough towards their approach to enter into a particular international boundary. So, all these factors need to be taken into account, and this is what is being talked of as a second point to be taken care of, that is country market selection. The third one is it is being said, that is the mode of entry choice, which medium of or which technique you will be moving in for towards getting in touch with the other players, and it says that which factor impacts on the entry mode choices of the internationalizing service companies. Now, this mode of entering into entering into internationalization or getting in touch with the globalized players, there can be several modes to go in for. We can have a joint venture, we can have a strategic alliance, we can go in for adoption of franchisee, or collaborations can be done. So, depending upon your feasibility, depending upon the objective you want to pursue upon, you may go in for you may go in for the adoption of any kind of mode of channel of entering into a foreign country. And then the last one is profit of service exports, and it says that how to export of service differs from the product exporters. Now, this is an important, very sensitive point to be taken care of, that is we are internationalizing the services, and here we know that already many discussions has taken place in our previous discourse, where we have said and we have understood out the concept of the services, which is all being related within an intangibility factor, the perishability factor, the variability factor, the heterogeneity factor. So, how to by associating with these kind of unique features or the unique identification, how the service providers will be coming up to collaborate or to just integrate out their efforts with the global players across the domestic boundaries. So, this is an important point to be taken care of by the service providers, that is how they are trying to export out their businesses, they are trying to export out their offerings in the globalized world with the collaboration of the foreign players, because as they are dealing out with an abstractors, they are dealing out with an offering that is more being pronounced in the case of the intangibility factor. So, this is an important challenge and an important point to be taken care of, which is very much being distinct enough with regard to moving on and pursuing out the strategy of internationalization, especially being related within a product exporters. Now, the next one, it is in a globalization of services. It says that as the markets they become increasingly interconnected, service providers seek opportunity for international expansion. This involves adapting services to meet out the cultural and regulatory differences of new markets. We know that with the advent of the LPG era in the 1990s, there is an era in which we have experienced around the LPG era, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. And with the adoption of this LPG and with the coming of this LPG era, we have experienced that our economy is being thrown open to the whole world, and that is what is in the concept of the globalization. So, here if the markets are becoming, definitely the markets will be becoming more competitive, because we are being open with the world, we are being very much being we are welcoming out the foreign players, we ourselves we are trying to collaborate with them. So this is how a phenomena wherein we are experiencing out a collaboration, we are experiencing out a phenomena of interconnectedness, we are experiencing out a phenomena of interrelatedness. So the globalization of the services, they are seeing that because of the advent of this phenomena, we are experiencing that there exists a huge opportunity, an immense opportunity for the services provider to have an association and the good ties with the foreign players even. And but if we are trying to collaborate, if we are trying to integrate and trying to merge out an area of operation with the foreign players, definitely as a provider of the services, we have to ensure that their cultural beliefs, their aspirations, the sentiments, the cultural adaptation is very important to be taken into account, because they are the psychological variables, the psychographic features regarding the attitudes, opinions, beliefs. They are playing a very important role to be taken into account by the service provider. Now, the specific points to be taken or to be beared into the mind by the service providers, and they are in the form of the challenges to be met if they are moving in for this particular direction of internationalization. And this specific challenges towards adoption of the internationalization of the services marketing, they are primarily they are in the form of the cultural differences, and it's being said that understanding the local customs and the preferences is critical to successful marketing. Effective communication is crucial, but language differences can hinder understanding and create misunderstanding. We know that this cultural values, the cultural ideas, the cultural beliefs, they are to be treated in a very sensitive way. They are in a very sensitive factor to be taken into account, because the religious sentiments, the beliefs, the artifacts, the ideas, the thought processes, they have been composed of the psychographic elements. So understanding out the local customs, their preferences, playing a very important role, trying to have a greater interconnectedness, trying to have a greater interpersonal role, intrapersonal role, trying to build up an effective communication amongst them, because there can be a situation in which we are experiencing out the semantic barriers, we are experiencing out the language barriers at certain point of time. So understanding their behavioral pattern, understanding out their sentiments, the language beliefs, the cultural differences in the form of the lifestyle, the aspirations, the ideas, the opinions, the thought processes should be in the same consonance as being witnessed within a certain chosen segment whenever we are moving in for the concept of the internationalization. So if we are trying to target out a specific area and we are trying to merge out an area of operation with the globalized players, with the foreign players, so definitely within a chosen segment or within a chosen market area, we have to understand out the needs and the preferences and the changing aspirations of the people. The language barriers need to be mitigated to a greater account. It needs to be mitigated to a greater extent. So as an effective marketer, we will be able to assimilate the flotation of information in a greater effective way to our chosen target segment. So this is a cultural difference. Now the next one is in a regulatory environment. It says that each country has its own regulations that can impact service delivery and marketing. Protecting trademarks, patents and copyrights can be challenging in foreign markets. Definitely we know that each and every country, they are having their own regulatory framework. They are trying to float their own norms and regulations. The industrial licensing policies are different for the establishments. Especially in case of the services organization, we are seeing that the service provider has to take into account that these fulfillment of the regulatory norms and the regulations should be done at a prior basis, and every country, they are having their own regulations regarding the impact of the delivery, service delivery and the marketing, like the regulatory framework regarding the flotation of the trademarks, the brand names, the patents, the copyrights. All these are the important tools to legalize, or they are acting as a legal weapon to be given out to the manufacturers, to the producers who are inventing or who are creating out something new for the very first time. So this is acting as a safeguard and an insulation factor for them, so that any replication cannot be done by the other users or by the other competitors. So fulfillment of the regulatory requirement is a very important need of the hour, and that is also to be taken into account. Now the next one is in logistics. which says that ensuring consistent service quality across different locations can be challenging. Establishing effective distribution channels in foreign markets can be time consuming and costly. Logistics is all being related to the distribution channel, and more than the distribution channel, it says that we have to ensure consistent service quality across the different locations. As we are trying to expand our area of operation, it is very challenging factor to ensure consistency across the whole distribution channels or towards the whole distribution area in which we want to cater upon. So, ensuring out the consistent delivery of the services, a uniform delivery of the services towards the whole location or towards the whole area in which we want to target out our efforts, it is really a challenge for the marketers, because we know that the services they themselves they are inconsistent in nature. So, how to just be able enough to provide out a uniform and the consistent delivery of the primary offerings, which are they themselves they are very much being inconsistent in nature. So, this is also yet another challenge to be seen in case of the disposition, the delivery of the services through the different audiences, the different distribution channels. So, the effective distribution channel, we are seeing that definitely they can be in an intensive way, they can be exclusive way, and a selective way, an efficient delivery channel, an efficient distribution channel. In case of the foreign markets, choosing out an efficient distribution channel, in case of the foreign markets, their pros and cons, their effectiveness, their efficacy, the feasibility in terms of the commitment of the resources, the feasibility in terms of the managers or the people who are being involved in the whole logistic area, the feasibility in terms of the people over whom you want to target out your efforts. Definitely, if you want to just explore all these areas, that will automatically will be time consuming, and it will be creating a delay factor and costly too. The next one is customer trust and reputation. Now, building trust, establishing trust with the customers in unfamiliar markets, it can take time and effort. Managing reputation, that is protecting and enhancing the company's reputation in the foreign markets. Now, customer trust and reputation, these are the two important points. We know that if we want to build up a trust, especially amongst the customers, and if those customers they are very much being newer in nature, you want to just expand and you are trying to explore a new business area, a new customer area. So, how to build up on a good rapport and a good trust and loyalty amongst those people who are very much being unfamiliar with you, who are very much being new to you, and they themselves are very much being reluctant enough and hesitant enough to go in for the uses of your offerings. So, in an unfamiliar market, it is a special challenge, it is a unique challenge for the marketers to build up that loyal to have on that particular loyal and trust building relationship with the customers who are very much being unfamiliar to you, and definitely that will be creating a lot of effort on the part of the marketers, and that will be costly too. Similarly, managing of the reputation, that is enhancing and protecting out the company's reputation in the foreign market. We know that if we as a service provider, we are trying to, or we have a good credible image, a good trust, a unique image which is very much being distinct as compared to the competitors, we will be able enough to protect and enhance our reputation, especially that credibility will also hold good in the foreign market. So, protecting and enhancing the company's reputation, an important area to be looked upon, and that will be more pronounced in the foreign market if we are trying to pursue an effective strategy of the goodwill creation. Now, this is in the competition, it says that the local competitors, that is understanding of the competitive landscape and adapting to the local market dynamics is essential. Global competitors, that is competition may be from the local competitors, maybe from the global competitors. So, here in case of the local competitors, we are seeing that understanding of the competitive landscape and adapting to the local market dynamics, it is very essential, especially in case of the local markets. We are trying to understand the competitive landscape and the competition that is being given out by the customers in the form of the direct competition. So, their local dynamics is essential to be studied upon. Similarly, at the global level, if you are trying to just expand, if you are trying to enter into the process of internationalization, then definitely the global challenges has to be seen, and we are saying that competing with the established global brands can be challenging. Price sensitivity, because the customers in different markets, they may have varying levels of the price sensitivity. Definitely trying to collaborate, trying to outbeat out the global players, a very real challenge to be witnessed by the specific service providers, and competing with the global brands, and especially it is a real challenging factor, Herculean task. We are seeing that on the price factor, definitely the customers, they themselves are becoming price sensitive, and they are price sensitive too. Earlier also they are price sensitive too. In the case of the globalized scenario, different market forms, in the different market form, the customers are having their different mindsets, they are having the different temperaments with the prices factor. So how to get connected with this particular price sensitivity factor, how to give them an assurance that they are paying, the cost is good enough, it is reasonable enough, justifiable enough with regard to the offerings that they are getting. So this is also a challenging factor that can be seen and witnessed by the service marketer if they are trying to outgrow themselves in the internationalization way. Now this is all about the challenges. Now we will be dealing out our discussion, we will be shifting our discussion towards what are the important strategies which the organization has to pursue to successfully implement out the technique of internationalization. The first one is market research, that is conducting a thorough research to understand the target market needs and preferences, understand the local customs preferences and behaviors to tailor your offerings. The very important strategy, that is understanding out the market area wherein you are trying to cater out to your efforts. So there should be a thorough exploration, the thorough research should be done on the part of the marketers, on the part of the organization, to understand out the needs and the preferences of the people over whom they want to target out their efforts, their local customers, their preferences, the behaviors, the attitudes, their motivation, the perception, the learning, the cognitions, all need to be taken into account if you are trying to tailor out your offerings in their own way, in their own account, in their own psychographic elements, keeping into account their own psychographic elements. So that is a very important point to be taken care of if you are trying to pursue out an exhaustive and an in-depth study of the market area. The next one is the strategy of the localization, that is adapting out the services, marketing messages and branding to resonate with the local audiences, evaluating out the economic stability, market size and growth potential of target markets, adapting your market materials, the website content and the customer service communications to resonate with the local cultures. Localization itself, it means that we are trying to adapt our marketing strategies, we are trying to adapt our messages, our copies, our services to be in alignment with the local audiences, their taste, their temperaments, their aspirations, they are all in alignment with our offerings. So we going for the method of localization, we have to evaluate our economic stability, we have to take into account the market size, the growth potential of the target market, how we can expand in the near future, what is the stability regarding the economic decisions that we are trying to make into for. All this has to be studied, and then we have to adapt our market materials, the website contents and the customer service communications to resonate with the local authorities, and alignment and resonation should be there regarding the flotation of the marketing materials, regarding the flotation of the 7 P's like the product, price, place and promotion, and the people, process and physical evidence should be in consonance with the meeting out the cultural beliefs and their sentiments and the taste and the preferences of the local people. So adapting out your marketing materials, the website content, if you are going in for the uses of the digital mode, the website contents, the information should be in tune with their expectations, their explorations, and definitely the communication will be effective enough to get in touch with the local taste and the cultures. The next one is a strategic partnership, and says that collaborating with the local firms can facilitate entry into the new markets, utilizing out the existing relationship and networks to build trust and credibility in the new markets. Now, strategic partnership, as we have said, that it is one of the method of entering into the foreign market, and here we are saying that we have to collaborate with the local firms. If you are trying to enter into a strategic alliance or the partnership, we have to collaborate with the local firms, and that will be facilitating us to enter into new market areas, we can either utilize out the existing relationship and networks to build out the trust and credibility in the new market areas. Trying to maintain or trying to cash out the opportunity of a good relationship with the existing customers, with the existing players, with the existing partners, we can be, we as an proactive marketers, we can be utilizing out this opportunity, which will be helping us out to outgrow ourselves in the foreign area, because that good rapport, that good goodwill and that good relationship which we have enjoyed with our customers, with our competitors in the existing market area, will be helping us out to outgrow ourselves in the foreign market, and definitely that will also be helping us out to maintain a good ties, to maintain a good trust and loyalty in the newer market areas. So this is in a way of entering into the foreign markets in the form of the strategic partnership. Regarding one of the other strategies, pricing strategy, and we are seeing that we have to consider the local factors, that is the factors in local cost, exchange rates and competitive pricing when setting the prices offer. Definitely we know that price is the only element in the hands of the marketers which are generating revenue, and a very important sensitive factor to talk of, especially while establishment of the prices for the offerings, determining out the prices of the offerings, an important criteria to be taken into account, wherein we are trying to take into account the different factors, like the factors in the form of the local cost, the cost that has to be borne in the form of the direct cost, indirect cost, the miscellaneous overheads. Either we can go in for the taking out the help of the competitors' strategy, how they are trying to pursue out their pricing method, what is the method that they are going in for establishment of their offering, the prices of their offerings, and that will help us out to be in consonance with the customers, to be in consonance with the changing customers aspirations, with the changing customers expectations, and to be in parity with the competitors' pricing strategy. So this is also an important strategy to be pursued whenever we are moving into the process of the internationalization. The exchange rates, important factor to be taken into account, the fluctuations in the exchange rate, the economic stability, the policies in the form of the monetary policy, the fiscal policies playing a very important role towards defining the establishment of our pricing decisions. The next one is the value based pricing. Here we are seeing that we are highlighting out the unique benefits and the value proposition of your offerings to justify out the pricing decisions. Value based offerings means here, as in a price sensitive customer, we know that the customers, they are very much being price sensitive. We have to give them a justification. We have to just highlight out the unique features and the distinct propositions of our offerings, so that that will be helping us out to create a unique selling proposition, and because of that USP will be able to justify out the establishment of the pricing decision areas with regard to our offering. So this value based pricing, an important strategy to be pursued by the marketers if they are moving further internationalization. And the last one is risk management, that is identification of the potential risk, conducting a thorough risk assessment to identify out the potential challenges and to develop mitigation strategies, develop contingency plans, preparing for the unexpected events such as economic downturns, political instability or natural disasters. The reward risk management, here itself it speaks of the fact that we know that we are living in this competitive scenario which is all being fulfilled with risk and the uncertainties. So acting as a manager, working in any of the role working in any of the functional role, and trying to act as a production manager, the marketing manager, the finance or the research and development, we have to just ensure that the quantum and the magnitude of the risks that are floating there in the environment should be studied in a proactive way. Definitely we cannot be able enough to eliminate in toto or in totality, but what we can do is that we can be able enough, if we are just trying to forecast it effectively in a proactive way, we will be able to develop out the measures and the the contingency reserves and the surplus can be maintained to mitigate out the effects of these risk and the uncertainties which may happen in the near future, and our contingent plan, our contingent reserves will be helping us out to come out with these kind of changes that are happening in the environment. Now, especially in case of the internationalization, we know that the important areas to be more being focused upon, like the economic changes in the form of the trade cycles, the boom, recession, prosperity, depression, the economic downturns, the trade cycles to be studied, the stability with regard to political stability, what is it, the government at large, the ruling government at large, they are changing their moves, the hostile attitude or the welcoming attitude, whether they are very much being familiar enough with the working pattern, or they are undue they are imposing out certain taxes and the duties that are proving as another challenge for you. So, the political instability, the downturns, the disasters may be in the form of the natural disasters, just as we have seen in the form of the way back in the 2 or 3 years back we have seen out the COVID pandemic. So, these kind of natural phenomena or the instability in the form of the political nature or the economic downturns which are being talked of as in a macro variable and having under the influence of the uncontrollable kind of way. But even then, as an effective marketer, we have to have that proactiveness, we have to have that versatility and the agility to sense out these kind of changes which are happening in the environment and which may happen in the environment to be proved as deleterious for us. So, with this I hope that we have understood the concept of the internationalization of the services, and I am ending up my session here only. So, till then stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you all for joining with me.